This is your 11th one of these, I think.
I don't know.
How was your approach to it changed since the first one? You made it.
I'd have to remember the first one
Yeah.
to give you an honest answer on that. I don't know. To be honest, I don't remember. You know, it's a long time ago. I'd like to thank you for bringing up 11 years ago when we were in massive rebuilding. It always makes me smile.
You won that game. But I mean, you know what I mean? Is it more important, less important, the same, playing those guys?
No, I mean, I really don't think about it. What I can tell you, though, the correct answer is I'm thankful to be the coach at Cincinnati. Obviously, this is a big part of being a coach at Cincinnati, whether you like it or not. This year, we're having a pretty good year thus far. I think our team's trying to improve, and that's what I'm focused on.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know coaches are always guarded this week to say anything, and I know players are the same way on both sides. But
I'm not. Go ahead, ask me whatever you
do
want.
you enjoy it? Do you like playing this game?
I really don't think about it like that, to be honest with you. Just think about what we need to do to win. I think if you think about anything except, and I would hope that I've got my players trained to do that. I think you better think about the things you need to do to win. Now, obviously, to your point, I think what you're getting at, in a game like this, the battle for every loose ball may be a little more heated. The battle for rebounding position may be a little more physical. So yeah, you better be prepared for that. I mean, you'd be foolish not to be prepared for that. But I think what people need to understand is when Xavier played at Butler last week, it was World War III. Okay, in a couple weeks we're going to go to SMU. It's going to be World War III. So, you know, it's not like we don't play in these types of games and we don't prepare for them within the season. It's just obviously the spotlight locally is on this right now.
You guys know each other's personnel pretty well.
No, we're not in the same conference. My players, I would tell you I have one player from Cincinnati, and I would say no. That's not the case.
Do you find in games like this that it's maybe a role player or someone that is not one of the front three guys?
No, I would say in the history of this game, there's been a lot of guys make shots that didn't make shots. And I'm sure we remember the guys on their team that made shots that didn't make one the rest of the year. And I'm sure they probably remember in some of the Cincinnati wins that's vice versa. So, you know, but every game's about performances. But, you know, this game tends to have an unsung hero over, you know, obviously I've been around the game since I was born. So there's been a lot of unsung heroes in this game over the years.
To your point, to follow up what I was saying before about you enjoy the game. Do you enjoy being around it? Do you enjoy the atmosphere, the emotion that goes into a night like this?
I block out the noise. It's not part of my world. It's for everybody else. You know, I came up with 2 tickets for somebody, and they said they hadn't been in a long time. It's going to be, you know, this is really going to be fun. I said, I hope you enjoy it because it's work for me. Now, that being said, you know, there's things that go on with everything, you know, but I enjoy every game, you know, and I appreciate the opportunity. What I went through a few years ago, I realized that, you know, tomorrow's not promised for any of us. So, and it's, you know, we're coaching basketball. We're not splitting atoms here. So it's, you know, but at the end of the day, I think, you know, my approach is businesslike for my players to see. Now, again, this game's a lot more hard fought in a lot of ways than a lot of your other games. So you better make sure as a coach you're preparing your players for that. But as far as enjoyment, for me, that'll be sometime in May. Coach Savino and I are talking about, we've never been to Pinehurst. So we're working on that. That'll be the enjoyment part.
Coach, how would you
That's the truth.
How would you describe the vibe of the city just leading up to the matchup?
I would have no idea.
No.
None. I could tell you the vibe of the upper elementary at Mercy Montessori, where they asked my daughter permission if she was comfortable with everybody wearing either blue or red on Thursday, which was nice of them because they try to shield her from that there. It's a great school, which she approved, and she said she thought there'd be one other person wearing red and black on Thursday. Of course, it's a Catholic school, so. But I really could not tell you. And really, I couldn't tell you, during the season, all we do is really go to work other than try to get something to eat. I'm sure, I would hope it is. I would hope that it's a big deal. You got 2 top 25 teams.
What about the matchup with Xavier, basketball-wise, aside from all the other stuff?
I think they're really good. I cannot believe what their conference did to them as far as their schedule, playing the 3 games in a row at Villanova, at Butler, and then having to turn around 2 days and play Creighton. I cannot believe that their conference did that to them, because Creighton played a D2 team in their game prior to Xavier. So the schedule dictates so much and can impact your record in different ways. But the truth is on film that they're down 1 to Butler with 45 seconds to go on the road in a massive free throw deficit. That also through that, they were trying to incorporate a new player that maybe could have thrown them off. I still think that they are who everybody thought they were. They're really good. I think they rebound the ball extremely well. Really impressed with their rebounding. And I would just look at their conference stats. To be +7 in a conference like the Big East, the way the game is played physically in that league and officiated so loosely, I'm obviously well aware of what goes on. For them to be +7 on the glass in that league is really impressive. That's a credit to their program, how hard their kids play. They got good players. I mean, Sumner and Blewett were guys looking at the NBA. McCure has turned into an energy guy for them who also can make shots. They were able to pick up 2 transfers that have really helped them. They're veteran guys that made up for their loss of Foreign Reynolds. They're not as deep as some Xavier teams.
Are Sumner and Blewett the 2 guys you have to focus on the most?
I think, they score the most, but you better not, I think there was a legitimate question earlier. There's been a lot of unsung heroes in this game over the years. So, obviously they would be the leading candidates. You better make sure that you keep Edmund Sumner under control. If he gets a head of steam at you, he's an NBA transition player when it comes to that. Blewett's a guy that if you don't defend him, he's going to get 20 because he can just make so many shots and he gets fouled as well. He's a legitimate big-time college scorer. So you got to make sure you defend those guys the right way.
Mick, you remember a time when this game made either school's season?
Meaning it would have been like
an Army-Navy kind of thing. You can go 1 and 2
yeah.
if you beat the other.
Yeah, I would say that. Tough to say. Back in the day, maybe when both programs weren't making the NCAA tournament, this was probably, hey, if you won this game, it was a bigger deal. Not that it's not a huge deal now. Trust me, we all both want to win. But I think that both programs have evolved so much, since our maybe dark era of the early 80s or whatever in the 80s where we didn't go to tournaments. Their their pre-Pete Gillen era maybe, where they weren't going to the tournaments that they've been going to. Now, I think it's become such a quality game that it's a quality loss if you lose. To be honest with you, there might have been a time where the game was bigger than your season. I think if that's what you're alluding to, I'm hopeful, and I was pretty young then.
You think fans would trade a win in this game for a couple of wins the first weekend?
I'll be honest with you, because I'm from here. Some would, some wouldn't. I think there's some fans that just can't stand it and want to beat the other team. But I think that's all they care about, so they don't have to listen to it at work. They really don't care about the rest of the season. So I would say probably the fair weather fan wants to win this game. It's all they care about. Our real fans on both sides of the ball obviously would both like to try to go to a Final Four. Way more than win this game.
You mentioned, we talk about stopping them. What do you need to attacking defensively? What do you need to do offensively is what I'm trying to say.
It'd be nice to get, I'm a big believer in this, in these type of games. Easy baskets are huge. So how do you get easy baskets? Transition off your defense, maybe block shots. We're 10th in the country in block shots. So to be able to get at anything in transition and then to get second shots. And for us to somehow be able to get the ball inside, that's probably when we're at our best. But easy baskets and free throws are big in games like this. And then somebody's going to step up on one of these teams and make some shots. I just hope he's on my team.
Coach, Xavier gets to the free throw line quite a bit.
Yes.
So you guys do a good job of not fouling. So other than how the game's called, what would be the factors on who wins that battle?
I think defensive strategy. You better keep him out of transition, keep Sumner out of the paint. He's an elite guy at that. He can break you down. He can hurt you in a major way. But I'm a big believer in layups and free throws determine victory. Sometimes making shots evens out. And there are the outlier games where, you made shots. But I think in the bulk of your schedule, if you give up layups and free throws, you're gonna have a bad year. If you get them, you're gonna have a good year. So it's gonna be hard enough to defend them without giving up layups and free throws because of Blewett and McCura and some of the guys on their team that can make shots. So, that's kind of how I look at it. We've struggled to score against them. If you look at the statistics in recent history in this series, we've struggled offensively. So we've got to do a better job on the offensive end.
You feel better equipped offensively to make sure that doesn't happen this time?
I think we're a much more versatile team. So what I would tell you is, the programs that win at a high rate, which they're one of, they are good enough to take away your strengths if you're a limited team offensively. They're going to scout you to death, and they're going to take away the couple things that you do well. If you can only score inside, they're going to take it away, which they did against us last year. So I think obviously we have a much more balanced team, and we can score in. We're shooting over 40% in conference play from outside the line. That goes with the guys that we got can score inside as well. So I think it goes without saying we have more balance and more firepower. We're definitely more eclectic offensively than we have been. You like that?
How do you, does it sound like the game is any bigger than every game to you?
No, it is.
Okay, but how do you isolate these guys from social media?
You can't do that. I don't think you really probably even should, to be honest with you. They probably need to understand how big the game is. The thing I try to talk to them about is that if you do anything for the guys that played here before, they want this game. So back to who wants the game the most, I would tell you former players from the calls that I get and the stop-ins at practice and the calls and the text predominantly would be former players. So, for the respect for the guys that were in that locker room before you, you better do everything you can to win this game. So that's something I definitely talk to the guys about.
You're getting those calls this week?
I get them all the time. I get them every year for this game, every year. It's not just this year, it's every year. And it's not always just this week. I could run into a guy in May and he goes, "Hey man, we got to beat them next year." Oh yeah. No, I would say it's the one thing, I'm thinking about X and O's right now, but when the questions is popping into my head, there's no doubt former players, I would tell you.
Is there one in particular who bothers you the most?
Former player? No, I love them all. They don't bother me.
I mean, as far as the game, asks you the most about the game.
It's pretty close to 100% of them, to be honest with you, of the guys, that I run into. It's not exclusive. It'd be from all your big name guys that you would know, the obvious suspects, to just some guys that were role players here. They're all on it.